I'm Jono.
And I'm Ian, and we're Gearheads with Competitive Cyclists. Welcome to the 2023 Road Bike Guide.
And this is the Cervelo S5. What is this bike good at?
Well, pulling it from Cervelo's website, undisputably the fastest bike of the modern era. And I don't think I can argue with them. This bike is a rocket ship.
I mean, looking at it, I would say probably. It's so unique, and it looks so fast just sitting there that I believe it.
It looks like it's moving, standing still.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The way it's cut out, the wheels cut out in the back there is just nuts. The tube shaping is extremely aero. And how about that stem setup?
Oh, the V-stem. That is very unique. It stands out, I think, for the better.
Yeah, for the better.
Yeah.
It's a pretty incredible bike. So, I mean, this bike is so fast just because it's incredibly aero.
Yeah, and it looks like they've done a lot of testing in the wind tunnel, like to get the angles and the way that everything is. You can clearly see it's been designed for that specifically. Yeah. Like, no other bike really looks like that.
Yep, and I remember a few years ago when I had an old S5, a 2016 S5, the handlebar, when it came out, was kind of the first time you saw like an aero shape on a handlebar. And that's when you kind of knew, man, this S5 is going to be going just crazy advancement. Yeah, going places fast.
Yeah.
But it's going to advance into just this nuts, all-out aero bike, and that's what it is today. But it still wins the Tour de France. I mean, they still climb mountains with it, so it can definitely do that. But the UCI weight limit is 15 pounds, so this isn't going to be the lightest bike in the entire world because, you know, you can build it with the high modulus carbon at close to 15 pounds.
Yeah.
But for just a regular citizen riding a bike, if you wanted something lighter, you could definitely find something lighter than this bike.
But I mean, light does not always mean fast.
Does not always mean fast.
And being aerodynamic these days is how you get your speed. So.
Yeah, definitely. Even going uphill, some of the speeds that pro riders go uphill, but you know, even if it's a lower gradient, it might be better for you to be more aero than actually lighter.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Since it's so focused on being aero, does that mean it gives up all its ride quality for that one thing, or is it still a good all-arounder?
I wouldn't say it's a good all-rounder. I think there's better bikes for that, but this definitely serves a purpose, and it is going to be a little harsher ride just on its own, but it does accommodate up to a 34 millimeter tire, so that's going to help out a lot. Yeah. And it being carbon, Cervelo's definitely thought about compliance in their layup of the carbon, so it's not going to rattle your teeth out, but there's other bikes that may be quote-unquote more comfortable out there.
Especially, I mean, with the stem, like the V-stem, I'm sure you give up some sort of compliance with that compared to like a traditional, you know, two-piece setup.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, I think the 34 millimeter tires and tubeless these days and running a lower tire pressure, like you can really tune the quality of your ride without losing any performance, you know, as far as speed goes with rolling resistance.
Yeah, I think people that would be looking at this bike are not so focused on comfort, for like, you know, I mean, they're looking for speed.
Yeah, you're looking for speed. You're probably going to set it up really aero. You're probably going to slam it down. You're probably going to have your seat height, you know, saddle offset.
It's not an endurance bike. I mean, pro athletes, it's definitely an endurance bike for them, but for the average person, it's not.
Yeah, but this is a race machine. I mean, this is an F1 car. This is
top of the line.
Top of the line. This is made for going fast. So what about some of the technical features to accomplish that? I know that this particular iteration of the S5, the headset was changed a little bit. It has the V-stem stuff. Can you walk us through that a little bit? Yeah,
so the V-stem, I know in previous generations, it was a little more complex. You'd have like the right amount of shims and different length bolts to adjust your stack height, but now it's one size bolt, make that easier. The cable routing, you're gonna wanna have electronic shifting only. It's the only option, no mechanical. So some people may not like that, but I think the way we're seeing everything go, it's going electronic for top tier things, and that's just how it is. And you touched on the tire clearance, so you set up to a 34.
On the tire clearance, a little bit more, like, because I did have one, like I said, back in the day, which is not the same bike as this one now, but it was like a 28. So, I mean, and that was rubbing on my frame. So being a 34 now and kind of looking the very similar way with a cutout underneath the seat tube there, it's pretty impressive what they've been able to design this bike to.
All right, so with the stiffness and power transfer, what's the bottom bracket? What do we need for that?
It's Cervelo. It's BB right.
BB right, yeah. It works, it's stiff.
Yeah, it's stiff, it's light, and it allows for that, especially the drive side to be really stiff for the pedaling forces of the chain. So what sizes does this bike come in?
It's gonna come in 5 sizes. It's gonna start out at 48, and it's gonna go up to a 58. So if you're a really tall rider, probably not gonna work out, but I think it goes up like 6'4" or so. So
Okay.
if you're over 6'4", I mean, do you really need an aero bike?
Yeah, you're really not very aerodynamic.
You're a sail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm 6'1" and I feel that way. So
Yeah, well, I ride with you sometimes, and I appreciate it.
I bet you do. So this bike, it's been around for a little bit. What about its accomplishments in the
It's-
racing world?
It has accomplished a lot. Most notably, the 2022 Tour de France win. I think a few people have probably heard of that race before.
Yeah, I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, all joking aside, Wout van Aert rides this bike. Jumbo-Visma is, I would say, the best UCI Pro
Yeah.
team right now as far as the road cycling goes, and they're on the Cervelo. Cervelo works very closely with their riders to come up with the design of their bikes. So this bike has been specifically designed with the team around a table at the Cervelo headquarters in California.
Yeah.
And we were just there.
We were, so.
And we have a video right here that goes to the factory tour.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see everything from the design. We talk to the engineers, and we go through all that. So
Yeah,
check out
really
that
cool video.
Very cool video. So those are some of the accomplishments.
It's got accomplishments. It's got speed.
It's got speed.
Does it have the looks? Does it have colors?
I don't know. You
I
tell
see
me. What colors does it come in?
So it comes in this beautiful black. So if you want to be stealth under the radar, you can do that. Or if you want the sapphire and ice. It's a really cool like purple with a white on the fork and then white lettering. Looks really good. Then the last one, frame set only, will be the tiger eye, which is like a orangey red, which
Yeah, I
looks
couldn't
good.
really tell. I was like, what is it? Is it red? Is it orange?
Yeah,
Is
orange.
Orange is a cool color for sure.
So it's definitely a top tier bike. What component levels can we get on it?
Yeah, well, it's going to come with the top tier components from Shimano and from SRAM. So that's going to be, since it is electronic only, Dura-Ace Di2, then it's going to have Ultegra Di2, and then from SRAM it'll be Red Access and Force Access. So that's what it'll come in. But you can also get it as a
Frame only. So we have the frame only option. You can build that up on our online builder, or if you have questions on how you should spec it, you can reach out to a Gearhead. You can even work with them on building it however you like, and they'd be happy to walk you through it. Speaking of which, how would you build yours?
I mean, just due to the complexity, I know they made it a lot better this year on this particular version, but I would go with Red Access.
Okay.
That's what I would go with. Just because on the on the Shimano Di2, I love that group set, but you do have to run some cables here and there, and I just don't really want to deal with that. I would just go full wireless with the Access.
Yeah.
What about you? How would you build it?
You know, I think I might follow Jumbo-Visma and go SRAM as well. On the bike like this, since it's probably going to be not my climbing bike, I might try the one by thing. I saw it done recently.
At Cervelo?
Yes, yeah. So some of the guys there at Cervelo had the one by set up and it looked really clean, and I think that's the route I would go.
Yeah, and Wout van Aert actually just did the one by at Milan San Remo.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and another interesting thing about this bike, just as we're talking about the build spec, is Reserve has some really cool aerodynamic wheels that they've been coming out with, and this one has a 52 mil in the front and 63 in the rear, so it's a mixed wheel size.
Yeah.
Some people are probably familiar. Envy used to do that back in the day with like their 4.5, 5.6, stuff like that.
Yeah, Reserve's really doing that going forward.
Yeah,
so.
and that seems to be optimized for the S5, so that's a great wheel choice that I'd probably run.
Yeah.
Would be the Reserve, even if I did some sort of different build spec.
Yep. I'd probably keep it on the same team as well. Go Reserve.
Who's this bike for?
Ooh, this bike is for people that want to go fast. And that's their main reason. They probably have multiple bikes. They probably have their climbing bike. They probably have like a crit bike or whatever, but this is for all-out racer.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
out speed.
It's all-out speed. I mean, we see it in the Pro Peloton, like what it's for. We've seen it win the Tour. I think it's for that type of rider, just wants the best of the best and wants to be the fastest in their group ride or on a race in the weekend.
I'm kind of a flashy rider from time to time, and I like to turn heads a little bit. This is definitely a head turner.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Especially if you get that sapphire and ice, you'll be turning all the heads.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Tiger Eye, that would be a good one too.
So we're talking about the UCI weight limits earlier, and you think this guy's legal?
I don't
It's
know.
so small. Look at that guy.
That is a small bike. Should
It's
we
a
check it
48,
out? Should we see
yeah.
what it weighs?
We should make sure it's legal.
Okay, let's get it on the scale. All right, John, let's have a little fun. Let's guess what it is, but before we do that, let's have the viewers put it down in the comments.
All right.
How much do you think this bike weighs?
I'm going to say 15.5.
Oh, I'm going with 16.5.
I'm too low, but it's a small frame.
It is a small frame.
No pedals.
No pedals.
Deep
Here we
wheels,
go.
though.
16 pounds,
Oof.
12 ounces.
Okay, I was way off.
So on our website, what would be another similar bike to the S5?
Similar bike to the S5, I'd say the Ridley Noah Fast. As the name implies, it's a fast bike. It is all about aero, and it's very similar looking to this, a little less extreme, but it's going to be right up there with it.
Yeah, definitely. And we've been seeing this, the Noah Fast and this bike winning races in the Tour de France and around the world. Caleb Ewan was on that Noah Fast and just smoking people.
Yeah.
So it's a great bike. But if you're not looking for an aero bike, all-out race bike, we do have 4 other videos where we're going through climbing, all-arounders. So check those out on our channel. We have those with our 2023 road bike guide.
Yep, all of our favorite picks. So be sure to check out those videos in the link below. And yeah, if you want to build up one of these, reach out to our Gearheads. Be happy to help you out.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, put it in the comments down below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel.
See you out on the road.